I'm Zoe Starr, and welcome to my show, Paranormal Extraction. We have something so different on today, and I'm so excited about it because it's completely out of the norm of anything I've ever done. And you know why it's so exciting? Because we're going to be talking about something quite unusual. The Book of Revelations, End Times and Prophecies. Now, we're going to be speaking with an amazing man. He has 8 books out, okay? He's absolutely incredible. All right, his name is Matthew Pinard. He is an author, a Catholic mystic. He is also been on television, radio. Okay, so let's just say essentially that he is a self-made success. So we are very grateful today to have him on here. I am so excited. And guess what? We can't do the full interview today in one interview. So we've decided to have Matthew on again next month. And we're looking forward to that. So here we go. Are you guys ready? This is going to be mind-blowing. Matthew, thank you so much for coming on today. And we have such an amazing amount of content to go through. First of all, I know you have 8 books out, and I want you to let us know, where do we find you or find your books? Or tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I do have a website, MatthewPinardAuthor.com or MatthewDouglasPinard.com. I'm also on Amazon. You could just Google my name anywhere on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We've been fortunate to have the books international. So most international online bookstores you could find me too. So.
Well, I mean, that's just incredible. Now, you're on Facebook too. Is there any other way people can get a hold of you besides just that?
Yeah, I have an author page. I have a Facebook. I have an author page on MatthewDouglasPinard.com or MatthewPinardAuthor.com. They both go to the same domain. There is a contact form someone can fill out if they want to get in touch with me. I don't charge for things like prayer or exorcism or prophecy or I can even have been doing this many times. Clairvoyant medium can communicate with people that have passed on to the spirit realm and have done it effectively.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that you've told me about is absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to get right into it. I know we were discussing about the woman clothed in the sun. And so I want to know kind of a little bit about how you got involved in this ancient prophecy fulfillment.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'll never forget the day, actually. It was December 26th of 2016. And I had a friend whose mother had very severe cancer and MS. I was living in West Michigan at the time, and this woman was in Chicago. I had a request to travel to meet with her the day after Christmas to pray with her. She had been wheelchair bound since the 80s. As I was going through a Chicago toll booth, something just directed me to pull my car over, and the sun cracked open through the clouds. In that time of year, in that area, you never see the sun. And I took it. And I did this with my camera phone and by the time I got to the church, I blew the image up and I was like, oh my Lord, there's a woman in a veil. You can see her cheek, her nose, and 3 multicolored orbs right around her where her third eye is.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was raised Catholic, so my immediate thought was, well, woman in a veil, that's probably going to be Mary. And I was directed by the Spirit to go online, and I found this prophecy that seemed to perfectly align with this event. And the gist of the prophecy is that this woman will appear to the earth as if she's clothed by the sun. And my photo, you've seen, the people that are watching the show have seen your trailer. You have that image trailer of her doing that. And it said, this was from 95 AD. So wrap your head around that.
Wow.
Somebody in 95 AD saw our future as a race.
Wow.
And if that's not paranormal, I don't know what is. So
Yeah, I know. What I love about you is you crossover. You know, it's
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
paranormal. You're not. It's not like you're like we're at sitting with the Pope.
I honestly wouldn't right now because I think he's under the thumb of the New World Order, to be honest.
I agree with you, and we could go down that whole thing in the Vatican and what they've got underneath and all that whole thing. And I know that you and I have talked for hours. You're the only person that I've done a pre-interview with, and I think we've spoken for like 3 or 4 hours, which never happens. But so, excuse me, you have a lot of these photos, okay, as
Yeah,
evidence that I have seen. And we will include some of those photos in the finished product today, so people can see those and just let me know which ones you want to put on there. But we definitely
yeah,
want the one that we're speaking about right now. So
yeah. And going back to that really briefly,
yeah,
so what's amazing about this prophecy is they said when this woman would appear, there would be another of other events, and these events did occur. So one of the events was a child would be taken up into heaven. The mother, the woman clothed in the sun, would then engage in this battle with a red dragon. So the red dragon, in my opinion, is Lucifer, right, the fallen one. And we do have that photo of him appearing over here in Prescott, Arizona, a couple Halloweens ago. That was in the trailer as well. But
yeah, I
also
saw
that,
that. That was a freak out. Now, I'm not like big into religion, that, okay? But the stuff and how you bring it across, I'm just letting everyone out there know that you can't deny what Matthew's got going on here, okay? And he has his own belief. I have my own belief. It's all kind of relatively the same. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh,
To
it's okay.
further go ahead and continue on with after you said something about the
Yeah.
yeah, okay, there we go.
So the prophecy was, as she appeared, this child would be taken into heaven, and my first book documented who that child is. And very, very profound paranormal events were surrounding this child as he was battling terminal brain cancer, and he was a twin. The other thing that the
Wow.
prophecy mentions that this battle would occur between the woman and the sun and this red dragon, and that then the dragon would eject fire and water through its mouth. Now, you look at the ancients, they looked at things like volcanic eruptions, wildfires, flooding, those kind of events as, the gods speaking sometimes, right?
Yeah,
So
right,
these
exactly.
things, since she has appeared, and what I do in my book is track, we've had an enormous amount of volcanic eruptions, wildfires, flooding. Hawaii, we just saw two volcanoes erupt at the
I
same time.
I know. I know.
In 2021, not many people know this because it was not talked about a lot in the press, but tell me this isn't paranormal. 21 on the day after a Ring of Fire eclipse, 27 volcanoes began simultaneously erupting at the same time around the Ring of Fire, around the Pacific. That's pretty wild.
Well, and I'm just going to interrupt here really quick. You said something about, and it wasn't on the press, in the press. Well, why would it be in the press, Matthew? They're not. The press is all corrupt. All right. They're not going to talk about this anyways. All right. They
or,
just,
or at the very least, third eye blind, right? If we could
yeah,
call
they just want us to be dumbed down. So, of course, they're
right.
not going to talk about what you're talking about when you're evidence and you have 8 books about all this stuff. Okay. And it's not, you're incredibly intelligent and, you have evidence,
Yeah.
not just by photos, but also by research and study and being highly intelligent like you are. So okay, so this demonic thing, I'm going to call it demonic. You call it Satan. And then you saw this and the child. Now, what does the child have to do with it? Because I'm a little lost.
So he's part of the prophecy. So in the prophecy, it talks about he's taken to heaven, and this child though he put up an amazing fight with terminal brain cancer, lived a lot longer than the doctors said he should have. And just very briefly, we prayed with him 3 times at a Catholic church to
Okay.
he.
Woo, woo, wait a second. You're talking about your own personal experience here, Matthew. This is the boy that you prayed over that got well, right?
No, so this child, what happened though after we did pray with him is I have photos of this in the first book. The sun turned into a heart. The sun crowned itself. A white dove, diving dove, appeared in a crack in the sky, and at the very minute that happened, an earthquake hit Pakistan. This child's name was Ed.
Wow.
The very second, yeah, that appeared, and he ends up living very much longer. And so as what was amazing is the doctors were looking at his brain scans, and they said this child should not be he should be on a breathing tube based on his diagnosis and where the disease had progressed. He was running around like nothing was wrong,
Oh
and
my God.
telling his family that a blonde man was coming into his room to tell him he was getting his own mansion in heaven.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the significance of, I believe he's the child from that prophecy, and he was eventually taken to heaven, and we've actually heard from him since in a very amazing way.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is an incredible story that you could even go really, really in depth on, which is
Yeah.
in the book. Okay.
It is.
So, and that is a pretty amazing story. So, okay, so can you explain? I mean, like, so you're getting this woman clothed in the sky. I mean, so what? When's the first time that you had this kind of like clairvoyant communication, or you became prophetic?
Yeah, so that's a great question and a fair one. Um, After she appeared, I seemed to have incredible psychic clairvoyant abilities. I had a friend that had committed suicide and actually came to me and was like right in my car, and he delivered all these messages to me. One was a warning about there was a tremendous threat coming to the world, and think about that. That was pre-COVID, pre-Ukraine invasion, pre-Israel attack, and he was accurate. And the other thing was I was just starting to have spirits. People that I knew had passed on come and deliver. And this guy, for instance, said, "Go tell, so you're not crazy, and this is me. Go tell this other friend, mutual friend, the word ghost light." So I went and did that. And he comes back and says, "That's a story I'm writing, and I haven't told anyone the title of it. You could not know that."
What?
So, yeah, many things like that. I told a woman one time what would happen to her 3 days later, and it unfolded exactly as I told her it would. I've told multiple people here's 5 things in your home that you have, and they're like, "How could you ever know that?"
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, it's. How did you feel about all of this stuff? I mean, it sounds like a bombardment. Did it freak you out in any way, or did you just accept it?
I
Or
was fascinated by it. I was um, like, what is the science behind this? This is amazing.
yeah,
I started thinking about dimensions and time, and my personal belief is that time and space are actual illusions, and
yeah.
time on Earth
Well, there we
actually
go.
is
See,
illusion.
you're not your regular Catholic priest here. Okay.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah.
Some of this could, it's funny because I did give my books to a priest out here in Arizona, and he's the one that gave me the label mystic. That's not a self-appointed
Yeah,
title.
I love
Um,
this. And what was the definition?
a mystic is basically somebody who has a tremendously close connection to divine energies. Which
Mm.
my opinion is that if you're a human being on Earth, you can tap into this. I think that's always all of
Oh,
our
sure.
destinies, right? I think that
Yeah.
this is just something, my psychic stuff, I had to hone it. I had to learn how to strengthen it, but it has served me and others tremendously well. I had a woman that her husband had died of COVID, and I summoned him. He told me the 5 things in their home that they had, and then his name was Greg, and like over 500 G's appeared in the skies after that. I
Yeah,
mean, the human spirit is so powerful, and I don't think we realize sometimes, because like you said, this world wants to dumb those experiences down or explain them away or say, no, you're crazy. That didn't happen.
Exactly. Right. Well, the
It's a very
thing,
good reason for that, because once we tap into that realm, we can see all the lies and cheating
yes,
and
we
deceit and
can,
stuff that it
which,
goes through.
which we talk about for, seems like hours and hours and hours. And by the way, you remind me of my uncle, because he told me, I told you this, when I was 10 years old, he told me all kinds of stuff that would happen. And
And he probably was psychic
he
clairvoyant.
was
In my book, I talked about
100% true on everything he told me that was going to happen. Absolutely
so
insane.
that's prophetic, right?
Yes.
That's clairvoyant.
Yes.
Prophecy.
So Matthew, now, okay, there's some, are we done speaking about the prophecies? Do you want to talk a little bit more about some other things that you have done or it happened to you before we?
So
Okay.
my fifth book, this is really something that I think everyone should hear about, and kind of shocked, but kind of not, that the Vatican isn't publicly making a comment about this. But I was traveling to Utah recently. This was 2021 or 2020 for work, and was working with retinal surgeons. And I was in a church there. I usually do a rosary every morning for peace. And this woman comes up to me, she hands me this manila folder, and she says, "Did you hear about our miracle?" And I opened this folder, and so basically what happened, this person who's a server in the church had gone out to get a sick person communion wafer, and had dropped the wafer on the floor and picked it up, and he had just laundered this white handkerchief, and so he put the wafer in the handkerchief and took it home. When he got home, he pulled the handkerchief out, and it was covered in blood.
Whoa.
There was no scientific, logical, natural explanation for that, appearing on a handkerchief out of nowhere.
Oh my God. Now, okay, I know we're going off subject here. I watched the whole, just let me go off on the subject really quick, and then we can get into this at a different show. I watched the whole thing on Stigmata last night, and it was absolutely insane. So you talking about how the wafer was red reminded me of that. And I was just, I absolutely believe in it 100%. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff out there. But anyways, I didn't want to get off of the beaten path, but I do like to say what I like to say once.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Okay, so that's pretty bizarre. Any others?
Yeah, so probably my most profound, I would call them very paranormal experiences, and I ultimately came to realize that they were attacks of the fallen or demonic. We live in Arizona, and one night we were watching a
Lucky you.
Yeah, right. It's beautiful here. But
I hate you. Can I come live? No, I need to come live with you. Please.
Sure, it's beautiful here.
Okay.
And also, I don't know if you know this, but they just found a wormhole from Sedona.
Oh, of course. Sure.
And there's an underground military tunnel there they just found.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, we're watching this serial killer movie, and I can't watch it because I used to process actual murder scenes in the military.
Oh, that's right.
So I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I see what I think is my wife with her back turned to me, as if like I was looking at the back of your hair, and she was wearing what she had on. And I was like, Carol, what are you doing? Carol, and this thing rotates, its face goes black, and it jumps into the wall.
Whoa.
I jump out of bed. I had not had any.
No, that's like demonic shit. That's like, like malevolent, something.
Took her form, and then I run into the other room, and she's in the bathroom, and she looks just like this thing did. So it literally like carbon copied her image. My God, it's
giving me like shivers right now. My hair's standing up. Yeah. See?
I've had about it. Yeah, we have a 2-foot wooden metal cross that when we were living in Michigan, and I was in the middle of my third book, we both witnessed it fly across the room, like projectile fly across, at least 6 feet from a mantle across the room. So
wow.
That was, yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, so you see this cross flying across the room. How far did it fly?
At least 6 feet.
Oh my God. Oh, and no one was injured, I hope.
No, I mean, my personal belief is that this entity, and I believe it was an entity. We did get photos of it later. My wife got one of them, and I've photographed. I think it's the same entity at least 7 or 8 more times, and that's actually the one that you had on the trailer.
Why, Matthew? Why was it there? What was going on?
I think that my personal belief is that he does not want anyone touching my books, and there's a real definitive reason because it will wake you up, like you mentioned. I mean, I don't know how we got some, right?
Oh, it's so great, isn't it? I love it when I have these shows and then all of a sudden the computer just, because, maybe something demonic or malevolent or, the aliens, especially people I talk to, haywire equipment starts happening, and the information doesn't want to get out there, even with people that are speaking about metaphysical people, positive things, so that's why I always wear
I'll tell you.
I wear my
I'll tell you.
rosary beads or I have my protection stuff around me. And
That's a good idea.
that really seems to help quite a bit. But go ahead and tell me what were you going to say?
Well, I was doing a radio interview with Kate Delaney, who has like 2 million listeners out of Texas.
Well, I don't have that.
We're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there. So the middle, as we're talking about this, and the one we're talking about the exact same thing, the apparition, woman clothed with the sun. Every time I said the word angel on the interview, my voice cracked.
Yeah.
Like something every time I said the word angel, it would not come through.
Yes.
It would be like angel. It was that's clearly
yes,
intentional.
Yeah. I've had, you can't even imagine on our show. Well, you saw it this morning, how we were like kind of freaking out going, why isn't that working? Because we are used to this. So, but sometimes it's, I had a really, actually he's famous. And he helps Nick Nolte a lot, but he's famous out of Hollywood. And I got to tell you, that was the worst time that I ever had someone come on my show. And him being famous and in Hollywood, he had to be the nicest man and took 45 minutes of his time, okay, which he doesn't have, Matthew. This is what a wonderful person he is, to help and wait, get us started up again, because they didn't want to hear his message. They didn't want anyone to hear it. So yeah, I go through that all the time. But you know what? I want to know, okay, I know we were talking about that 3-line prayer. That thing is really cool. So explain a bit about that 3-line prayer that you were talking to me about.
One of the most extraordinary things that happened to me was when this woman clothed with the sun did visit me, and she's appeared probably 6 more times to me, and I've got photos of it too. She would communicate telepathically. So she would purposely, and I knew it was not of my own origin, I'd get like a phrase or, and then she would stimulate my, like when you eat wasabi and sushi and you have that
oh yeah.
So she would stimulate that olfactory response, and it was meaning like, yes, that's what I want you to latch onto. So one of the communications was this 3-line thing, and I've since used it almost daily. It has resulted in what I believe are people recovering from things no doctor could help them with. My father's an example. He was given a diagnosis of a lung disease. I did this 3 lines. These lungs appeared in the skies. They were clear. His initial appeared. Multiple rainbow-faced angels appeared. He went back to the doctor, got a lung scan, and they said, there's nothing wrong with you.
This is absolutely incredible. I mean, can you help me? I need a lot of help.
Yes. So the line is Ashanti Anunnaki Adonai, Ashanti Anunnaki Angel, Ashanti Anunnaki Sancti. What I was told that means is I'm going to put the spirit of everything from God, angel, and everything sacred in this universe around you. The African Ashantiism believes like this wooden table has a spirit, so it's, I'm going to envelop you with spiritual protection, more or less. And then I felt like she was like leading me. I want you to heal this person. I want you to tell this person what's in their home, show what you can now do. It was almost like cracking a code. It was incredible. I mean, it was like cracking a code. And then once you, like a video game, you crack that code, you get to this other level.
Oh yeah, sure.
Now you have all these other abilities now. So I was just fascinated by it. And, sure, yeah, there's people around you that don't know what's going on with you. So they think obviously think it's demonic or it's mental illness. I've heard that. It has nothing to do with my military PTSD.
Right.
This was a gift from the gods from heaven.
You're gonna crack me up. Oh, sorry. Oh my God.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. I'm just gonna butt in really quick. I need you. I know you give me the prayer. I want to write it down and have it included in this show. So as we're speaking about this, it'll come across the screen on how to say it, because I know that you're not doing this yourself. Okay. I'm not being a jerk here because you've given it to me to say. So I'm assuming, and I should have asked you before, if that's okay if we do that.
Absolutely. It would be wrong for me to keep that to myself.
Okay.
That's how I feel. That's what she directed me to do. Literally, if you look at the faiths that follow Mary, and you believe she truly was the mother of the Son, her role is as kind of mediator between heaven and earth, right? So she's more or less our advocate. So one of the other amazing things that I saw happen in this gentleman's story was in the New York Times recently. He was given a terminal diagnosis of a Pepsi can-sized tumor on his heart, which is very rare. A carcinoma of the heart is extremely strange. I did the 3 lines for him. His friend had asked me to. He's an atheist. He didn't know I was doing this. That's the best part, right? His initials appeared.
You're really cracking me up. I'm going to say, okay, I got to stop laughing. Go ahead. Okay, sorry.
So his initials appeared. All these hearts appeared. All these hearts that you could see something was in the heart, like a tumor. He quit all chemo and radiation.
Oh my God.
They gave him 18 months to live. He's now at 2.5 years.
Oh my God.
And the tumor on its own went from Pepsi can size to apricot size.
This is absolutely amazing. Okay.
I agree. And I think everyone on the earth should be able to learn how to do this, because imagine eradicating the need for.
Right.
So Big Pharma's not going to like us. But.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go into that subject because you know what I've been going through. But okay, can one write this like on their refrigerator? Let's just say I have a whiteboard and just say it every day. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And what I was told is that it would not. What it also serves to do is to drive those fallen. You talk about exorcism, right? To drive those things away. Yeah.
And it's really cool. I don't feel like I'm in the church praying. Say what it is again. Say the prayer.
Ashanti Anunnaki Adonai, Ashanti Anunnaki Angel, Ashanti Anunnaki Sancti. I'll tell you a brief story.
Really cool prayer.
Yeah, it's
really. It resonated with me
cool,
because
right?
I have this issue about the church. So, but I don't. I do and I don't. Okay, because I really, truly, Matthew, believe in the exorcism. Okay, and the demonology part of it. Okay, and we are on a huge rise, and they can't find enough exorcism people to go out there. But I'm not going to get into that. We're going to do that in a different show. Sorry. What were we just talking about?
Well, I'll tell you a brief story that I believe was an exorcism. So there's a young lady out here that I work with professionally, and in my books I go into, I believe there's a number of incarnated angels on earth, almost like a hybrid or a half-breed, half human, half angel. She fit all the qualities of this, and she wanted to go to the church and do this 3-line thing, and we did. The second we walked out of church, this will boggle your mind. Her first initial is a C. In the sky, this giant C appeared, but it was backwards, and there was a black cloud on top of it.
Ew.
As we're sitting there watching it, this C rotates, and the black cloud lifts.
Ooh, but that's kind of like I mean, I don't usually get like my hair standing up during any of these weird I'm getting like a lot of that today. Like my arms
Yeah.
and which
Sometimes when I simply tell these stories, I get spinal chills. People talk about getting chills. People talk about them going
yeah.
out. Some of them will go outside and then see their own initials in the skies. So
Well, you
there's a
mean kind
direct
of like when you
correlation.
showed mine?
Yeah, and I would tell that story. That's beautiful. I mean, multiple Z's appeared, right?
Yeah,
The
and
day I told you I would do it.
that was when, and we can get into that in a different show on why, I asked for that help.
Yeah,
And I think that's very important that we do that. So, I mean, this is just incredible stuff. So, what's now that we're on this subject, like, what is the most profound paranormal or spiritual experience that you have had? I mean, these are all pretty profound, Matthew.
yeah. It's hard to just choose
So, like,
one
is there
because
any one that is the biggest? Because there's a lot. There's too much to talk about.
there's a lot between Paxton and the earthquake. I mean, who witnesses an earthquake praying after praying? And just the manifestation of these entities in the skies. Sometimes I'll get a photo, and it'll just blow my mind how clearly it's not just weather, as I've been accused of taking pictures of clouds. It's not just that. There's something there. The precious blood miracle is, I mean, I was told the Vatican is testing that blood. There's nobody on earth that wants to know the results of that test more than me.
What is the
So
precious blood? Is that thing that they have there that they say it is Jesus' blood?
they don't know. I mean, if the blood test came back
But they're
as
saying it is, right, and then people want it tested.
I've spoken to the people in the church, not the priests. The priests have been trying to kind of keep it quiet for some reason.
Yeah, because it's not real.
Well, the church is very, it takes them years to even canonize somebody, decades after that person has died. So, in my opinion, they're very slow to call something a miracle. You asked what was one of the most profound. So, I did run into a woman at that same church, and she had been in a car accident and had a cane. And I did the same 3-line thing for her. It was unbelievable. About 12 actual roses appeared in the skies.
Yeah, I know
Actual
you get a
roses.
lot of these messages up in the sky, which is really cool. And you
Well,
take
so check this out.
yeah. So
Also her initial and all these roses, and I sent them to her, and she just was, please don't ever not do this. Please keep doing this. The next day, this is what's incredible. The next day, somebody in the church, somebody had left it was a pamphlet, and it was a shower of roses.
wow.
It was and it talked about a shower of roses and Saint Teresa of Avila. It was
Beautiful.
something, but the roses had appeared, and then this pamphlet just appears in the church.
Well,
And
sure. I mean,
that's
isn't
incredible.
that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I've had something appear above my house, and then I'll find a feather, just one feather.
Right.
I had these blue feathers appeared in my backyard that were just utterly unexplainable. And blue things were appearing in the skies. I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one thing. I think the guy with terminal heart cancer that's still living and quit all Western medicine treatment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a story everybody in the world should hear.
It's not just that one, but that's not the only one that you've done, Matthew.
No, there's I had two people that are utterly cured of lupus.
Yeah, you've got more and more and more and more. I mean, so it's like we're just kind of scratching on top of the surface here, which is kind of pissing me off. So I know we got like 5 more minutes, so I want to ask like the last question just to make sure, and then we're gonna of course have you on again in December. But the medical miracles, okay, that you just were speaking about. I mean, how many of those have you been involved in? Because you're scratching the surface here. You're only speaking about a few. I mean, how
Yeah.
many, Matthew?
Well, I'll tell you a story. So in my 8th book is called In the Key of Belief. There's probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 stories in there that are medical miracles. My father's lungs, this guy with the heart cancer, 2 people cured of lupus. One guy's leg was twice the size as the other leg and red and inflamed from lupus, which is an autoimmune disease.
Yes.
We did the thing for him, and his initials appeared. He couldn't believe what I was doing. He couldn't wrap his head around his giant initials appearing in this angel. And well, he goes back to the doctor's leg. He sent me a photo. His leg looks just as normal as the other leg. There's
Wow.
a woman that recently contacted me through a friend who, this is probably the most amazing thing I've had happen yet. She's battling terminal end stage cancer, and she just messaged me yesterday saying the doctors can't understand how her body's responding so quickly to this new treatment. They said it usually takes months. Well, we had done the 3 lines for her, and I was at this church where I did it, and these 2 tumors were in the sky. There was a cross above the church, and this 2 light beams shooting right through the cross and through the tumors. And so what was amazing though was that I didn't know this. When I first was messaging with her, she goes, "Oh my God, you're Matthew, the Matthew." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, she had throat cancer like, I don't know, a number of years ago, and a nurse had given her one of my books.
Are you kidding me?
No, and no, they told her she would never speak again.
Oh my God.
She read the book the nurse gave her and regained her voice.
Oh my God, Matthew, that
So she
is the
started buying
coolest.
my books. She started buying them in bulk and just was handing them out to people for free.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, wow. Okay,
And so our paths eventually crossed, and she had no clue that this guy praying for
oh
her
my
was her
God, is
favorite
that just
author.
absolutely amazing? That is so
Totally.
beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I also, I think that you and I meeting was meant to be. This happens a lot. Where I
Well,
run
no,
into
I
somebody
mean,
who's
I'm not on doing pre-interviews with people talking 3 hours. Okay, no, no, and then getting so confused. I had no idea what we talked about, and I was so confused. I'm not like that, you know. And then having to talk another hour and a half, and then going, oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we're good, we're good. But wait a second, we've got a lot more to talk about. You've got to come on again. So,
yeah.
well, I really appreciate you coming on and scratching. I'm going to call this the interview of Scratching the Surface with Matthew Pinard, because that's all we've done is scratch the surface.
I
Okay.
love it.
Okay. And that's it. I mean, you basically just kind of given us bullet points. You know, that's the way I feel. And I mean, me talking to you, I know a lot more. Okay. But the bullet points are really great. But it needs to be, I think we need to do more and speak about it more, which I want to talk about exorcisms next. But in depth, meaty stuff, you know, because now you're introduced to everybody. They're going to know who you are. And then I think we can proceed from there. I mean, do you feel good about everything you've talked about, or you have any last words, or?
No, I think this was a beautiful interview. I mean, I'm trying to look at it as an outsider. If I were somebody that didn't have these experiences and I were watching somebody that had these things that I just talked happen to them, I would be running to the store to get that book. And part of the book says I tell you how to do it. I'm not holding anything back. There's a lot of good psychics out there, but they're not telling you how they're doing it, right? Or healers even. That's not my goal. My goal is to get everyone to this plane, because here's why. I think that's the very thing right now with what's wrong with the planet is vibration, right?
Yeah, of
If we get
course.
high enough vibration, high enough consciousness, we're not
Yeah.
going to have these wars. We're not going to have these pandemics, these homeless problem, school shootings, right? I mean, this is a major war right now, and it's crossing through from the spiritual realm. And I think we all know that. I think whether or not you don't have to be religious to understand that there's another dimension that we don't always get a glimpse of, but these books are giving that glimpse and showing the battle. There's one photo I have, and I believe it's my fourth book, and you can see it's like an angel of white, and this team's right next to it, and they're like squaring off. And I
Yeah.
showed it to many people, and they're like, I clearly see what you're talking about. That's absolutely what's happening there. And it's just that realm showing us this is going on. It's happening.
Yeah, it's
2 weeks before the Israel attacks, I got the red horse of Revelation in the sky,
yeah.
like on fire with the wing. Unbelievable photo, unbelievable glimpse of prophecy coming to fruition.
Yeah. Now it's all fine and dandy. I know, it would be wonderful if everyone would go out and get your book, but there's so many people that are going to be very ambivalent about the whole, I'm going to say it again, the whole Catholic priest stuff. Okay. But I'm going to say one thing, Matthew, one thing. We post that little prayer thing that you said. Okay. That is going to give somebody the hope, and that may
Yeah,
change
I
their
agree.
entire life, and it may lead them down the road to purchasing all of your 8 books at once, or probably cases to give to other people.
No, that was the greatest compliment, though, was having a medical professional, a nurse, give my book out,
Yeah.
saying, here, this might be an app for your healing.
Yeah.
Something within her recognized
Yeah.
that, something's happening with these. Like you said, you got the chills. I think we've just barely tapped the surface of what our bodies, we use, 10% of our brains.
I know, it's
And
so
I think
sad.
there's this whole energy thing that we're meant to have, but this world wants us not
But
having it.
Matthew, that will be open. That's opening up. It's not going to be 10% anymore.
I pray so.
No, I'm
And
sorry. When I started doing that pineal gland work,
yeah,
no. There's proof there for me. Okay.
and I hope to God nobody runs out and gets one of Elon Musk's or Jeff Bezos's brain chips.
Please, oh my God, no, I'm not going there, because I am freaked out by Elon Musk right now. Okay.
Yes.
And 2 more people died in one of his self-driving vehicles that was driving down the road and blew up, and they're dead. Okay. But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. You're coming on again in December. I'm really
Okay.
excited. I know that we're going to be talking about other stuff, but I really want to talk about, I would like to talk about stigmata, and I'd like to talk about exorcisms.
Yes, we can absolutely do that. I'll tell you 2 brief stories. I had a scratch down my arm. Woke up with it, and my dog was in the other room the whole night. My wife, she had 3 claw marks down her leg that manifested in the shower.
Oh my God.
So yeah, these things, you can get, touched by God, but you can also get touched by the side that doesn't want you to.
Well, these are real stories. Okay. They have true events, and I've studied these stories. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that they exist. So anyways, I just want to say it's a pleasure, because I could go on and on and on with you forever and ever and ever, and start getting off onto all different other topics. And you don't, and Elon was really going to freak me out. And so I'm looking forward to having you on again in December. That worked out perfectly. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and giving us, like little tidbits of pieces of pineapple that they didn't put enough on my Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a really interesting conversation.
Okay, all right, Matthew. We're going to see you again really soon, and blessings. Thank you.
You too. You as well.
Okay, bye-bye.